Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to all of you. We meet again for our English class today. Today we are going to continue Module 8. Where were you yesterday? And for today's lesson, you may refer your textbook page 78. Today we are going to learn or read a story entitled A City from the Past. Okay, before we move on, let's take a look at the objective of our lesson today. Okay, at the end of the lesson, pupils will be able to read and understand the story, understand the differences between was, were, wasn't, and weren't. Okay, and then the success criteria for our lesson today are pupils watch the YouTube video, pupils read the text, pupils understand the story, then pupils understand the use of was, were, wasn't, and weren't. Okay, now let's take a look at the vocabulary of a few words in the story. Okay, the first one is shopping center. Okay, repeat after me, class. Shopping center. Okay, what is shopping center? Shopping center is an area or building with many shops for you to buy things. Okay, this is the picture of the shopping center. Okay, next let's move on to another picture. Carriages. Okay, repeat after me, class. Carriages. Okay, carriages. Carriages are vehicles that have four wheels. Okay, one, two, three, and four wheels that are pulled by horse or horses. That may be one, two, or more horses. Okay. Next, let's move on to the next picture. Okay, noisy. Okay, repeat after me, class. Noisy. Okay, when someone says you are noisy, okay, it means that you are making too much noise. Okay, if someone says the road or the street is noisy, maybe because there are too many vehicles or people that make the sound and the condition to become noisy. Next, street. Okay, street. Okay, repeat after me, class. Street. Okay, street is a public road in a city, town, or village. Okay, typically it exists with houses and buildings on one or both sides. Okay, this is the picture of a street. Okay, before we continue, let's read the words again. Okay, shopping center, shopping center. Carriages, carriages. Noisy, noisy. Street, street. Okay, for the next activity, I want you to listen and read the text. Okay, I want you to listen to the audio of the text, then read the text in page 78 by yourself. Alright,
Module 8. Our World. Social Studies.
A city from the past. This is a picture of New York City in the year 1900. It was very different then. There weren't any shopping centres or cinemas, but there were shops and theatres.
okay. Okay, let's read with me, okay, class? Repeat after me. Okay, a city from the past. Okay, this is a picture of New York City in the year 1900. It was very different then. There weren't any shopping centers or cinemas, but there were shops and theaters. Okay, I hope that you can read it by yourself. Okay, listen to the audio, and then read it by yourself. Okay, next.
There weren't many cars back then, but there were lots of horses and carriages. The streets of New York City weren't quiet. They were noisy and full of people, just like today.
Okay, now repeat after me, class. There weren't many cars back then, but there were lots of horses and carriages. Okay, the streets of New York City weren't quiet. They were noisy and full of people, just like today. Okay, I hope that you can read it by yourself. Okay, listen to the audio or listen to my pronunciation and read it by yourself. Okay, next we move on to the grammar section. Okay, grammar section. Okay, today we are going to learn about wasn't, was, wasn't, were, and weren't. Okay, but for the first one, we are going to learn about was and wasn't. Okay, the word wasn't here is the short form for the word was not. Okay, last week we learned about wasn't and weren't. Okay, wasn't is another form for the word was not. Okay, we use these two words to describe things that already happened before. These are past tense. Okay, these two words was and wasn't are used for singular or one thing. For example, you see we have a theater here. Okay, we have a theater here. You can say there was a theater. Okay, there was a theater. Okay, and then in the second picture, you can see that there is a car, but with a big cross here. Okay, the cross means that the car is not here, or we don't have the car now. Okay, so we can say that there wasn't a car. Okay, there wasn't a car. Repeat after me, class. There wasn't a car. Next, okay, we use were and weren't for two or many things. Okay, the word weren't here is actually the short form for were not. Okay, for example, okay, we have three horses here. Okay, we can say there were horses. Okay, there were horses. Okay, we don't use the word was here. Okay, we don't use the word was because we have three horses. Okay, three horses is plural or many things. So we have to use were. Okay, there were horses. Okay, if there is only one horse here, we can say there was a horse. Okay, now for the next picture. Okay, we have three buses. Okay, we have three buses here, one, two, and three buses, but with a big cross here. Like I said, the cross means the buses are not there, or we don't have the buses. Okay, we can say, okay, for this one we can say the answer is there weren't many buses. Okay, repeat after me. There weren't many buses. Okay, next we move on to the activity section. Okay, let's do some activity. Okay, number one, choose the correct answer. Okay, look at the picture. Okay, what is the picture about? Okay, it is a bicycle. So, your answer should be in singular form. Okay, because there is only a bicycle. So, we have to choose whether to use was or wasn't. Okay, okay, there is no cross here. Okay, there is no cross here. So your answer should be there was a bicycle. Okay, very good. Next, look at the picture. Okay, we can see that there are two cars in the picture. So your answer should be in plural form. So we have to decide whether to use were or weren't. Okay, as you can see, there's no cross here. Okay, there's no cross here. So the answer should be there were many cars. Okay, very good, class. Next, okay, the picture is about a carriage. Okay, it is only one carriage, and there is a big cross there. Okay, so it means that the carriage is not there. So your answer should be there wasn't a carriage. Okay, next. The picture shows two shops here. Okay, one and two shops, but it has a big cross in the picture. Okay, your answer should include the plural form of were or weren't. Okay, the cross here means that the shops are not there. Okay, or we don't have shop here. So your answer should be there weren't many shops. Okay, there weren't many shops. Okay, the last one. The picture shows three buses here. Okay, three buses. Three buses means your answer should be in plural form, whether you have to use were or weren't. Okay, there is no cross here. Okay, there's no cross in the picture. So the answer should be there were many buses. Okay, we are done with the activity and the lesson today. Okay, before we end the class, let's have some revision on what we have learned today. Okay, we use was and wasn't for singular or one thing. Okay, for example, there was a theater and there wasn't a car. Okay, we use were and weren't for plural or two or many things. Okay, for example, there were horses. Okay, there were horses, and there weren't many buses. Okay, there weren't many buses. Okay, I think that's all for this class. Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, we will meet again in our next class. Okay, next week. Okay, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.